Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, The Rock and Metal Guardian. I'm Dane, your host. Today I'm going to review the new Virgin Steele album, and it's called The Passion of Dionysus, a concept piece, a progressive metal opera, and I'm going to do a track-by-track analysis followed by my overall impressions. So let's jump right in. The first song is called The Gethsemane Effect, and this has some interesting riffs, melodies, and throughout the album, the song included, there's the varying between two vocal styles that Defray does, the high registered vocals and then the more gruff-like vocals. So you can expect to find that pretty much in every song, if not every song. There's also this angelic choir bit near the beginning. I'm not sure if I care for it, but overall, despite the fact that there are some interesting riffs, melodies, as I said, the song is mediocre. And it's also too long. It's 7 minutes and change, and had the song been shortened, I think it would have been more memorable. And then what really does it for me, why I don't care for the song, is because you're going along, and then you get to near the end, and there's some cursing, and it totally destroys the mood. You know, You've pictured the protagonist in a Garden of Gethsemane-like moment, Dionysus himself, right? He's struggling with what he has to do, and the cursing just, as I said, destroys the mood, and so it ruins it for me. The next song is called You Never See the Sun Again. This clocks in at 9 minutes and 20 seconds, so it's even longer. You have some piano, some strings, some orchestral melodies. Now this is some light music, and it contrasts heavily with the dark lyrics. So the juxtaposition essentially does not work. I get the irony, but having such a light-sounding song, but with such dark lyrics, it just doesn't work together, which is a shame. And I get that Defray is trying to do this heavy metal or progressive metal opera. He's being very theatrical. But you have this new age, in this song at least, you have this new age meets pop melodies with some heavy riffing, and the heavy riffing's for good measure thrown in there. It's not frequent enough, though, in the song. And then you have some orchestral classical bits. So you have 4 different styles of music thrown in this hodgepodge, and it doesn't work. And again, it's like the previous song. It's too long. It's even longer than the previous song, as I said. So that's number 2. So far, not looking so good for this album. Number 3 is called A Song of Possession. This is one of the more shorter pieces. This is just under 6 minutes. There's a fast drum beat with alternating semi-gruff vocals and then cleaner vocals, cleaner phrasing. And it's here I realized that this album has a drum machine for the drums throughout the whole album. It's here where I realized I could tell. And I don't care for that. You have the high notes that I like, but the gruff stuff that's going on, especially in this piece, I don't care for. Anyway, so that's song number 3. Song number 4 is called The Ritual of Descent. This is a boring piece. Despite some interesting vocals, you have guitars, but they're sparing. The vocals are the focus of the song for the most part. You have piano and then some talking/singing near at the end. And this song is 12 minutes and 41 seconds. And this is just for a song that's that long, it's just not interesting enough. So there's just, the focus is on Defray himself too much. It's too much theater. This is like overacting that he does. And what I mean by that is he's trying too hard at what he's doing, and of course it suffers because he's in the spotlight, and the rest of the instruments and stuff don't have enough presence. Okay, so that's what I mean by number 4, The Ritual of Descent. Number 5 is called Spiritual Warfare. This is another long piece, 7 minutes, and it's almost 8 minutes. This song has some great potential, but it still fails. Defray can't decide to sing clean or gruff, and that's part of the problem of the whole album. Now, I get why you'd want to do both, but there's too much of this, and especially in this song, it doesn't work. There's times where in other parts of the album it works. In this song, it definitely does not. And then we're back to that talking / singing again. There's that narration again. Too much theater, if you will. So far, however, this has the best guitar on the album. Yet, overall, with respect to the song, it's boring because the song goes nowhere. All right, the shortest song comes up next. The 6th song is called Black Earth and Blood. Just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Now I'm getting annoyed with Defray's voice at this point. Like previous songs, Defray, is just trying to be an actor on the stage with the music as the backdrop. Here's where I started to realize that in the previous song, and it doesn't work. The last few seconds of the song, like the last 10, 12 seconds, sounds amazing. How about you do more of this in the work? More of this is needed. There's these fleeting bits of good instrumentation, but only present in brief moments throughout the song. And this sums up many of the songs. We have these little bits that grab your attention, but they're fleeting, and then you're back to this boring stuff. All right, number 7 is the title track, The Passion of Dionysus. It's 8 minutes and 9 seconds. The opening lyrics are, "I'm drowning in the black abyss of hell." And when I first heard it, I went, this emoji, right? And then when I heard it the 3rd and 4th time, because I listened to this a bit to try to, you can't go by the first time you hear something. And every time I was just like, no, this is cliche. This is cheesy. You don't need this. These are pitiful lyrics. We've seen this movie before. The song, you just have singing in the foreground, and everything else is just a soundtrack for Defray being in the spotlight, and Defray's acting. So not a good song. Number 8 is To Bind and Kill a God. So here we're getting to, if you know your mythology, Dionysus is killed and then he rises from the dead. He's a Christ figure in many ways if you study comparative religions. Interestingly enough, Dionysus is also has some similarities with the devil because Dionysus's animal was the bull, the horns, and that sort of thing. So interesting figure. So Dionysus in the song is binded and killed, like in the stories you read about him. Of course, he rises from the dead. This is 8 minutes and 18 seconds. You have some cool guitar in here, but it's too brief. In the middle of the song, you have some more cool guitar, and then some piano, which is kind of neat. And the vocals, finally. This is a song where I'm finally loving some of the vocals here. But then back to more theater. So the cool vocals don't last. And more of the phrase overacting, if you will. And it's too long. Number 9, Unio Mystica. 9 minutes and 15 seconds. You have a piano intro with some quasi-high wailing lyrics. High wailing vocals. First 5 minutes of that. Then you get some background vocals from a female vocalist, or she shares the spotlight with Defray. So you have lots of high vocals and piano, but you have very little guitar, and I'm okay with that. But then you get back to the talking / singing at the end, and it's just, again, it's too long. You can condense this and make it more interesting that way. Some songs that are long grab your attention, and I did a video on my favorite epic length tracks, and I'm a big sucker for that. But here, it's, as you've seen so far, it's not working. It's too long and it's too boring. So some interesting pieces, but overall the song fails. Number 10, the last song. I will fear no man, for I am a god. So here is where Dionysus is resurrected from the dead, and he's now achieved apotheosis. He's now become a god. 8 minutes and 47 seconds. This song opens with nice, heavy riffing. Where has this been before? This is what this album needs in some more spots. But unfortunately, it's not penetrating the whole album. It falls by the wayside almost as soon as it comes in. It returns later throughout the song in small bits, but they don't last, and it's just, there's not enough of it, as I said. The chorus, it's the song's title. So the chorus is, "I will fear no man, for I am a God." It's sung in an awful manner. However, after that, there is a guitar solo at the 3:30-ish mark, and this is really nice. Had the album had more of these types of solos, it would have been a cooler album. But then after the solo, it's on to a nice, cool riff. But then you get the talking/singing narration stuff again with piano. And then it ends with, "All hail Dionysus, your king." That is so cheesy. So Dionysus speaking at the end. So let me give you my overall impressions. As you can tell from what I've said so far, I've gone through all 10 songs, and it's not good. So overall, most songs are too long. Shorten them instead with interludes, motifs. Have some short classical pieces or piano or guitar or whatever, like Queensryche on Operation Mindcrime. Give some, like most concept albums, you have long songs, but they're connected by shorter pieces, right? Do that instead between songs. Most of these songs go nowhere. Or when a change comes, it's short-lived, like a cool riff, a solo, a piano piece. And then it's back to this theater, this boring stuff. So the riffs need to be longer, the licks, the piano pieces, etc. need to be longer and extended. So what does that mean? There's too much attention on vocals. This is what happens when a band is a band in name only, because the only original member is Defray himself. Now, having said that, guitarist Edward Persino joined in 1984, 3 years after the band put out its first album, I believe, in 1981. And then Josh Block, who plays a 7-string guitar, in 2001. But that aside, so you have some members, one member close to the beginning, but Defray's running the show. Everyone else is a hired gun, so essentially there's no chemistry. Chemistry is what makes a band. Chemistry is what makes an album. Chemistry is what makes a band great. So either way, it's Defray's band, and everyone else is a hired gun, so no chemistry, as I said. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So a few more things. This is let's make a long epic tracks album for epic tracks' sake. It's not organic at all. It feels very forced. The vocal phrasing is very bad at times. Mostly nothing special. Lots of endings and other sections should have been used to open up the songs. And I think I hinted at this before. Let me repeat that. Lots of endings and other sections should have been used to open up the songs. Let them breathe and let them resonate. You don't get enough of that, and that's why this album fails. The vocals hog way too much of the spotlight. Instead of letting everyone share the spotlight at times, you just have Defray in the total protagonist mode, theater. Hey, everyone, look at me, and that's what the album cover tells you. All eyes on Defray. Hey, look at me. I'm tied to the cross. The whole point of this album is look at what I'm doing, and everything else is secondary. And that album cover gives you the hint of what's to come in that, unfortunately. While ambitious, and I like ambitious pieces, it just doesn't work. It fails. So my rating of this album: it's embarrassing and it's unlistenable. Therefore, this album rates as atrocious. I'd like to hear very much what your comments are regarding this album. If you disagree, feel free. If you agree, feel free to post in the comments section below. Also, go ahead and click that notification button for upcoming videos, and click the subscribe and like button. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.